This is a Dragon Blazer production, and I am the little boogeyman.
All right. Coming down the aisle, your podcast tag team champions of the world, Boomer and Blaze.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Boomer and Blaze Show. I am Boomer.
And I'm Blaze.
And here we are back for another week. And, it seems like a recurring theme because we have to start off on a sad note again. Maybe not wrestling related, but we still lost somebody pretty big. I believe it was on Friday, if I'm correct. I was actually shocked because it didn't show up on my Facebook page at all. And I thought it would, like somebody at work had to tell me about it. So, but I believe it was on Friday. We lost a legend with the passing of Jim Brown. And I have to look. I'm horrible here because I'm trying to remember how old he was. We're very professional in this show. We talk about it all the time. There we go. Yeah, Jim Brown. And I always knew as a kid that he played football. I knew that, but I think I remember more from being in TV shows and movies is where I remember more from.
Yeah, he played for the Browns, right? Or Raiders.
He played for the Browns.
He also played for the Browns?
And the Raiders, yes. Yeah. Yep.
I always knew him for the Browns. I didn't realize he played for the Raiders, too.
Yeah, he was one of the most famous Browns, really, of all time.
Honestly, that's why I know of him.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
And I knew he played football, but I remember him like he was in The Running Man. He was in Any Given Sunday. He was in Mars Attacks. Like, yeah, that's where I remember him more from the football field. But he's definitely one of the most famous and most loved Cleveland Browns ever. That's for sure. So
he played well before our time. So.
Well, yeah. I'm old, but I'm not that old. Not that old yet. So there we go. 2 weeks in a row. But they say, and actually, oh man, I'm gonna throw a wrench in the works here. Just yesterday, I believe it was, the actor, I'd have to look him up. I don't know his name, but the actor that played the Punisher this past time passed away. He only did the one Punisher movie, and he was in some other thing. He was in Thor, I believe. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Shoot. The original Punisher?
Not the original Punisher. Punisher Warzone. Cast.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember his name. And also, Jim Brown.
Ray Stevenson. Also passed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I watched Warzone, but real quick, I wanted to also bring up that he played for the Browns in 1957.
Oh yeah, way before our time. Yes.
It's well before I was even thought of.
Yeah.
Heck,
yes.
I think 57's before my parents were born. So.
Right. Yeah, that's way back. So definitely before our time. But yeah, very well loved football player in person and actor, and our condolences to his family. But he lived a full life, that's for sure. And
oh yeah,
to have longevity like that, he was always like I said, I know that Cleveland loved him a lot. So
right.
So there's 2 weeks in a row on a little bit of a sad note, but it's life, right? That's what happens.
Right.
So
that's life.
That's life. He's gonna break out some of the classics. Look at that. Wow. All right. Well, so we started with that, and now I'm gonna kind of switch it up. This is technically some AEW news, but it's also some video game news, and it feels like it's been 75 years we've been waiting for this. But finally, they've announced a release for AEW Fight Forever. I thought this was never going to happen.
Right?
Because if I'm...
do we want to show the video?
Oh, you have a video.
I mean, I can go on YouTube and get it real quick.
Oh, you're talking about the announcement. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's show that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. And while he's finding that, I broke out a little something out of the cabinet here because I just like to show my stuff off now that we're a video podcast. But have you ever seen one of these? There's not too many of these around. This is Bret Hart as a Simpsons character because he did appear.
Hart.
Yeah, he appeared on The Simpsons once. So this is actually the Bret the Hitman Hart Simpsons figure. There's not too many of these around, but I happen to own one.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. I don't know exactly how many of them were made, but I know it's not, it's not a figure that a lot of people have. So that's a pretty cool piece of my collection. Yeah. I actually I do have the card for it as well. I just keep it out of the package. So here we go. Oh, he found it. All right.
I've got it right here.
Here we go.
Howdy folks, Kenny Omega here for AEW and AEW Games. Now, quite some time ago, we announced our first foray into the video game world, AEW Fight Forever. We wanted to develop an arcade experience that was fun, easy to pick up and play, but difficult to master. And we believe that AEW and our partners with Ukes have created just that experience. And finally, I'm happy to announce that we are ready to announce a release date. So, for Nintendo Switch, PS4, 5, Xbox, and PC, you can finally get your hands on AEW Fight Forever on June 29th. Get your copy now, pre-download, pre-order. Thank you so much for your patience and being awesome fans, and I hope to see you guys online in the game. Until then, I must bid you adieu, goodbye, mwah, and good night, bye-bye.
Here we go. Right. Finally, after months and months and months and years and years and years, it seems like we are getting AEW Fight Forever. And I'm pretty excited. What?
If they were trying to make sure that, it was just as good as it could be, I'm all for it. Take your time.
And they wanted it.
Take your time.
And they wanted it.
Your first video game.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do to make this a good one.
Yeah. And they wanted it to be different. They don't want it to just be the WWE games with AEW slapped on it. So that's part of the reason, they took their time too. And I love that they're doing like the old school 64 graphics. That's kind of the style they're going with in this. And
yeah.
And I was actually looking some things up, and right here's one thing that's impressive. There are 10 gameplay modes. 10.
Really?
Yes. 10 different gameplay modes, and the matches that are going to be on this game include singles, tag team, 3-way, 4-way, ladder matches, casino battle royale, falls count anywhere, unsanctioned lights out, and exploding barbed wire death matches. What do you think of that? Plus online modes.
Now that's where they could beat WWE real quick, because that is my one complaint about these WWE wrestling games they don't focus on the online at all.
But the But the one thing you're not going to like is I don't believe there is this is supposed to be more of an arcade style, so I don't think they have a universe mode. I don't think there's a GM mode. I don't think that is in this game.
That's going to be a little sad.
Yeah, to be honest. And that's everything I read, because it's, and it doesn't really tell you on their page exactly about that. It just tells you the different game modes. Customization's huge in it, which all of us love. You expect that. Wrestling attire, move sets, entrances, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and the only thing it says for online co-op is tag team matches, so it may not meet your expectations for that, because like I said, they were trying to go for something different, more of an arcade style game. I was kind of hoping. I mean, I get that, but I was also hoping for a universe mode because I play that a lot, and even like you said, something online that could be, better than By the way, I didn't know this, but this is the first Ukes game since SmackDown vs. Raw 2009.
Yeah, they haven't been doing wrestling games
Yeah,
lately.
so, but yeah, and it's funny because, by the way, later on we're doing a video game review, and it says in here that, that they were going for a feel like WWF No Mercy and Virtual Pro Wrestling. That's the feel they were going for, but it's more modern, so I think that's going to be fun. I was interested to see, and I think I'm going to pull it up right now. I do believe CM Punk was removed from the
The
cover,
cover?
but
Is he still in the game?
that's what I'm curious about. And the funny thing is, according to online, he is. According to, when you look it up, CM Punk is still on there. What's funny is Cody's on there too. So I wonder if Cody will be the first wrestler ever to be on 2 video games released in the same year, because he's in the new WWE game. So
He is.
yeah. But yes,
I'm excited. I'm excited to play Orange Cassidy. I want to play Orange so bad. Absolutely excited. I
And-
love
and his-
MJF as well, but Orange
Right.
Cassidy just has such a unique move set that I'm excited for it.
Right. And think about that. It's 2023, and we're about to be a video game where you could do like Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin versus Owen Hart and Sting. What do you think about that? Did you think that was going to happen in 2023? Owen Hart will be in the game. Owen Hart is in the game.
That's cool.
Paul White, aka Big Show, is also listed on the roster, so it looks like he will also be. And the Young Bucks. I mean, come on, yeah. There's definitely a lot of good people I'm excited to play with, and I think it'll be a fun game, even if we're not going to get, maybe there will be a GM mode. I don't know. It doesn't say anything else besides the match styles, and I think that's really what they're going for. I think this is just going to be a arcade style game. Maybe there'll be.
This is 2023, so I feel like they will have to do some kind of. You're not going to be able to get away with just coming out with just simple versus gameplay. You're going to have to do something. Maybe it could be like I mean, if you go with the old arcade style, you could do like a ladder, like a Mortal Kombat style, where you face each wrestler to make it to the top to win the championship, or something along those lines.
Right.
The lack of some kind of story or GM mode would be kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
I understand the arcade style, but you're going to have to do something to make it unique.
Yes.
Especially if you want to compete with WWE.
Now, do you have that little Fight Forever graphic that I sent you? That's actually the new cover art. I don't know if you can find that real quick. I mean, I added our logo to it, obviously, but they did remove CM Punk from the cover.
Yes,
and
I mean it was shown. It was shown on the video, but let me see.
Yeah, and I'm also excited to play as Britt Baker.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Britt Baker's a star, and I think, I'm not saying I want her to leave, but I think if she ever went to WWE, she would be just as huge there. But I hope she stays in AEW. I like her there, But yeah, so they removed.
Yeah, they don't need to be losing their one good female wrestler. Not to be a dick, but it's not the.
Well, they're not as deep of a pool, but Jade is one of my favorites as well. Jade Cardell, and you got the Outcasts,
Yeah,
so you got to look.
All right.
She's all right.
She's all right.
You think she's a female? You think she's a female Goldberg, don't you? You hate her.
No, I just honestly haven't watched enough
AEW. Yeah.
No, I was watching AEW, but she wasn't like super popular when I was watching.
When you were watching it, yeah.
I mean,
and now that she's champ, she's.
It was before she became champ and
there
everything.
You go. And to be honest, she was a little, she was still green when she started, so, that's.
Yeah. So.
But there you go. Yeah, that's the new cover.
I haven't really been watching a lot of AEW, but I've seen some. I've seen enough to know I love MJF and Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. We talked about the pay-per-view coming up last week. It's going to be interesting to see if Orange keeps his title, defending it in a battle royal like that. That's going to be And I think this may be, I know I'm switching gears and I'm going back to Double or Nothing, but this might be one of their biggest main events because we talked about it last week, and I love that the title's on the line and everybody in that ring for that main event's going to be an original, you know, guys that were built up by AEW, and I'm pretty excited for that.
Right.
I think that's good, especially they're in year 4, I believe. So that's going to be really cool. But yeah, Fight Forever finally. It seems like we've been waiting for 80 years.
Forever, perhaps forever to fight.
Now it's just going to be a question of which system I'm going to get it on. That'll be the only. I mean, I only have 2, but still, I got to decide: do I want it on PlayStation or my Switch? That'll be the.
Well, I was gonna say you should do Xbox, then we could play together.
Yeah, but see, I'm not an Xbox guy.
That's the one system you don't have.
Yep.
Well, see here, I'm a video game guy. If I had the money, I'd have a Switch, I'd have an Xbox, and I'd have a PlayStation. But I'm a poor bastard,
right?
Because so far this hasn't got me rich yet. So
yeah, we're
I
working
just
on it.
have an Xbox. I just have an Xbox. So
yeah. Someday when we get that hush money,
hush,
money. We have
money,
mentioned
money,
before,
money.
Folks. We will shamelessly plug for you, no problem. Like show us the
Absolutely.
money. We will Jerry Maguire that for you all day long. I saw the clip.
Exactly.
I saw the clip. It was a meme on Facebook the other day, but it was the clip from Wayne's World when they're talking about how they won't sell out, but every time they show one of them, like Wayne's drinking a Pepsi.
Oh, I
you know,
love those. I
Garth,
love those.
Garson, like the entire Reebok outfit. Like, I don't know why people sell out like that, man. You know, right here, we will do that. We will shamelessly. You know,
Right? It'd just be like,
you tell me what to wear, I will wear it.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. This is just
Mm,
absolutely
good.
delicious. I'm not bringing it up for any reason.
No reason other than that. Oh,
Yeah.
it's good stuff. We're waiting on it. Speaking of that, I guess I could show this week. I got my TNA lockdown.
TNA.
Yeah, which I think we talked about that before. I know I've brought it up before. That's the one I went to. I was there live. That was in Cincinnati, Ohio in 2011. Man, I'm old. I am old. But we talked about that one time before because I told you that'd be a pay-per-view you'd like because Lockdown is steel cage matches and every match is a steel cage because it's a
wow.
themed
That's
pay-per-view. So every match takes place in a
I
steel
like it.
cage. Yeah.
I like
So.
it.
Unlike Night of Champions, that's going to be in the afternoon and has 2 matches that aren't title matches. But whatever, we're going to get there in a minute. Let's talk about the Viper real quick. How about that?
The Viper, eh?
Yeah, let's talk about Randy Orton. Just in case, you know, I mean, these are just rumors now, but I did look it up to see what exactly was going on. And Randy actually had to have fusion surgery, which
Oh crap! Is that where he merges with another wrestler to become one really powerful wrestler?
yes.
Fusion.
No, it's where he actually becomes a Viper. He's literally, no, I'm joking, but
Yeah,
yeah.
but him and that Viper have to have similar power levels. That's
Right.
how that works.
so, you know, so he's been out for, I think they said close to 2 years now, and he had this, it's kind of what Bobby Roode's going through too. But man, you know, I've always liked Randy Orton, and I miss him. You know what I mean? Like, I do, and
Yeah.
and there's no doubt that if he can't come back, there's no doubt he's a Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Oh, 100%.
And he's one of those,
There's no
you know, we talk about the
question.
we talk about the longevity, and we talk about true, like people say, Undertaker was a WWF guy, which he was, but he came from WCW. Randy's one of those that started there, stayed there, never left guys. You know what I mean? He started in OVW, which was their developmental back then, and he's literally been there the whole time. Same with Shawn Michaels. Undertaker had longevity too, but Randy Orton is probably underrated sometimes. Like, I think, I think you could argue that Orton could be on the Mount Rushmore for some people.
I mean, if you had a Mount Rushmore of his era of wrestling,
Right.
maybe. I don't know, because you know, you got 4 wrestlers on a Mount Rushmore. Can you take them out? Can you take Hogan out? Would I
Right.
like to? Of course.
Well, of course
Would
you
you
would.
take him out? Could you take The Rock out?
That's why I
Could you
always,
take Stone Cold?
yeah, that's why I've always said that, like, picking a true one just with 4 people would be hard to do. When you break it down to different categories, maybe it'd be a little easier, but I get what you're saying because like Hogan, for example, and I know you're not a big fan, but you know what Hogan did for the business. That's why I always say Stone Cold should be there. Stone
That's
Cold.
another one.
Yeah, Stone Cold
John
should be there.
Cena.
Like,
John Cena. So I have a curious question.
yeah.
So we got the what do you call the original era with Hulk Hogan? What do we call that?
I don't know what term people use for that. It's the
classic
classic WWF,
era.
yeah, the classic era. If you want to go that way,
you would put
Old
Hulk
school.
Hogan for that era, right?
Yes.
Attitude era, you would either go Rock or Stone Cold, right?
Yes.
Then you got Ruthless Aggression. I think John Cena is your only choice there.
Yeah.
Modern era. Who would you put on there? Would you put Roman? Is Roman your biggest star of this modern wrestling? Let's say from 2010.
It'd be for me, it would be between him and Seth, but Roman would probably take it because of this run he's on right now. Yeah. I mean, how can you not argue that this is one of the best runs ever?
But I would argue Seth has had a better run.
Longevity overall, yeah. Overall, yeah. To me,
since 2010. Or would you put Randy? Would Randy be your modern era? Even though he's not even wrestling.
I still think it'd be Seth, even over Randy. I think Seth would be over both of them, if you want to talk about overall. Yeah.
Yeah, because Randy's best option to be on a Mount Rushmore would be Ruthless Aggression. That's when John Cena got. And I don't see you putting him above. He might be second place to John Cena.
Possibly, yeah.
I'm trying to.
And I'm not even. You know me and Cena. I'm not a huge fan, but you can't argue what he. I mean, he was a modern day Hulk Hogan. You can't argue that. Like, he was huge for him.
Yeah. Whether you like Cena or not, he was the
face.
Aggression.
He was the face.
Unless you want to bring up, because Triple H was pretty huge at that time too.
Yeah, but the thing with Triple H
I think John Cena would be the choice.
I do too. For that particular period, Triple H now is on a different level because you could put him at both of those. You could put him Attitude or Ruthless if that was your guy. You know what I mean? So he covers 2 of those. That's why when people say who's the best and all, I mean, it's a matter of opinion. It's everybody's taste, But Randy has everything that we always talk about. He can talk, he can wrestle. I mean, he's always been. I even liked him when he first started, which doesn't happen very often. But when he started doing that Legend Killer gimmick, I thought it was great stuff, and he was so full of himself. I think he's a better bad guy. He's always been a better heel.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to get to because that was another one I missed. Now I've seen enough Randy Orton to see his greatness since.
Yeah,
but I didn't get to see him when he first came in.
Now when he very first debuted, you know how critical I am. I was like, because he was Bob Orton's son, and I'm like, oh, Cowboy Bob Orton's son. But as soon as he started doing that Legend Killer gimmick, I was hooked.
You have a real issue with people that are legacies, don't you?
Or it's just their gimmick, But look what happened. We keep talking about how great Austin Theory is going to become because I don't like him right now, so he's going to be a huge star, So we get
absolutely. Well, I mean, you look at the way they try to book Austin Theory. I think they want him to be a big star. I mean, if they.
Oh yeah.
But they're doing it smart. They're not shoving him in our face as a hero or a face. They're shoving him as a heel.
Yeah.
Which can, when you force that on people, that works better. I think if you're gonna go with, you want someone to be hated, force it on them.
Yeah.
He'll be hated.
Yeah.
You'll get that heat you want.
Exactly. Yeah. Like that heat he got, like him beating Cena at Mania. That was the right kind of heat to keep propelling him. And he brought that up in a promo the other day. He's like, look at all the people, all the legends, I think is the way he stated it. Look at all the legends I have beat, So, yeah. It's good stuff for sure. All right. Well, I guess since we're on Orton, we can switch to some. Do you have anything you want to bring up outside of wrestling? Because I'm about to just switch to some WWE news. I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to bring up this week. You never know. You never know with you.
Nothing comes to mind at this.
we'll sell a little
moment.
behind the scenes stuff here because of schedules and stuff. We're recording earlier than normal, so we may not have as much crap to ramble about because we're recording like 2 days early. So,
Yeah.
but but we're here and that's what matters. All right, well, we can just talk WWE news then. And let me get back to my notes. Ta-da. All right.
Notes.
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 All right. Well, we do have to. I mean, I'm sure you saw. I'm sure you're sad, like I am, that Liv Morgan got legit injured, and so they had to vacate the women's tag titles.
Yeah, that's sad news.
Yeah, and I believe it's this week on SmackDown though. They're going to crown. Yeah, this week on SmackDown they're going to crown new champs in a fatal 4-way.
That would be cool. That should be a good match.
Yeah, and I'm trying to. I don't know. I should have had this already pulled up because I wanted to pull it up and see who was going to be in the match. But but anyway, yeah, they're doing a 4-way to determine new women's tag team champions on SmackDown this week. So I didn't get to see a whole lot of Raw, but I saw the big news coming out of Raw was that Cody got attacked by Brock. Brock put on the armbar, maybe broke Cody's arm, and Triple H was actually on Raw because they did a backstage segment where Triple H was telling Cody he shouldn't fight Brock at Night of the Champions because of his injury. So we're still we're still building this story so Cody can finish the story, and he's gonna finish it eventually. I'm telling you.
Someday.
It's just gonna be interesting how there's some rumblings. I personally wouldn't like this, but there's some rumors that maybe Cody would win Money in the Bank, and I'm not like that would make sense because he's on Raw and Roman's on SmackDown. So if he really wants that title, it would make sense for him to win Money in the Bank. But then you would have to be careful how he cashes in because you don't want to finish the story where Cody looks weak, if that makes sense. Like Cody can't win Money in the Bank and wait for Roman to be beat down and then cash it in. That's not gonna get it over the right way. That's not gonna work, But
I don't know if I don't know if I really want Cody winning Money in the Bank.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Royal Rumble back to back.
I would rather him get there another way besides Money in the Bank. And that's just a rumor. That could be totally false, So I'm just curious how they're going to get back to Roman and Cody when he's on a different brand. That's the only thing I'm curious about.
I just feel like Money in the Bank goes to your up and comers,
and they kind of.
I guess I have a similar feeling about Royal Rumble,
and they've gotten away from that a little bit. And then when they do somebody like when poor Otis got it, you know what I mean? Like it used to be the up and comers, and they'd use that to catapult themselves to the next level. And it seems like they've gotten away with that. Like I'm on the same page as you. And I don't know how many they're up to now. I think they do 8 guys now, or however many it is. But
I think it's 8.
You should only have 2 to 3 veterans, and then throw your younger, well, not even by age, but your up and comers in there. Like LA Knight's been rumored to win Money in the Bank, and he may not be young. He may not be young,
would be good.
But he is one of their, and you're right. But look back in the day, like when Edge won it, he was not a huge star yet. CM Punk won it back to back when he was just starting out. That's what Money in the Bank should be for us, to elevate the people that you are going to think are going to be your next stars. So LA Knight or Solo, one of those guys that you think are your next big stars should win that, in my opinion. It'll be interesting to see how they go. But
LA Knight would be a great pick, I think.
LA Knight,
because he's popular now, but he's not. He hasn't gotten to main event status yet.
No, not yet. No.
So that's the someone to step up. Absolutely, LA Knight.
Yeah. Not only that, great choice for. Are we good?
One sec. You we're good now. You cut out for a second.
I shouldn't have touched see, I got to keep my hands down. Anyway, LA Knight would also be a good choice because of his character, like him cashing in and winning in a way that's just, like the champions beat down and bloody, and here he comes. Like it'd be perfect for his character. It'd get him the right kind of heat. He'd be the perfect person to have that briefcase for sure.
He'd come out, bring that briefcase, hand it to the ref, and be like, "All right, am I cashing this in? Yeah."
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. And here's a rumor too that I can't confirm, but you'll like this one. So it looks like Bray Wyatt. I know I posted how they've removed him from the roster internally or whatever,
Yeah.
but it sounds more like they're trying to say this is all an injury. It just sounds more like a creative thing, and they feel like the Pitch Black match didn't go the way they wanted it to, which you were a fan of it. I thought it was too gimmicky. Long story short is, it seems like there's talks of they're trying to figure out where to go next with Bray. And they actually would like to have Bray and Cody at SummerSlam. So Bray's not totally out of the picture. It's back to it's a creative thing again. They're trying to figure out what direction to go next with Bray to make it work. If they would have never killed the Fiend, they wouldn't even have this problem right now.
I think you just got to bring back the Fiend.
Yeah, you know,
in my opinion,
they should have never put the Universal title on the Fiend when they did, and then have him sacrificed to Goldberg.
I didn't say they didn't screw up the Fiend.
Yeah,
they absolutely did. But he's such a great character. The Firefly Funhouse is so great. Yeah. Just bring it back.
Yeah.
Just find an excuse to bring it back. Add Uncle Howdy as a part of it. I mean, I'm cool with Uncle Howdy.
Actually, and part of this is saying, too, that they are discussing bringing Bray and Alexa back together.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that, too. Alexa was just weird when she was by herself and we had no more.
Well, it did make sense for her to be like that once the Fiend was gone. Yeah, and I don't know why Bray says he doesn't want to bring the Fiend back. Look, us, the fans, would be fine with it. We want to see it come. Bring the Fiend back and, continue doing what you were doing instead of it ending the way it did with that silly Jack in the Box WrestleMania crap, and then we never saw you again. Like, come on back. So we'll see what happens. So Bray's not totally gone. It's just a creative thing, it looks like, which is why they hired the new writers for him. And, so we'll see. We'll see what happens next. Hopefully he's not gone. But if it doesn't work this time, just go to AEW and see what happens. I mean,
yeah,
that's all you can do, right? So we shall see. So those are a few rumors. We'll get one from the rumors, and let's talk about Night of Champions. Or as the Facebook post that made me laugh the other day said, Afternoon of Champions. Because of it being in Saudi, it will be on at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So maybe you can catch it. I'm interested. I'm curious to know now. You haven't watched any of these events, but is the World Heavyweight Championship match enough to make you want to watch this Saudi pay-per-view?
I mean, I kind of want to watch it just because it's Night of Champions. I like Night of Champions. I like the concept of it. I don't like the fact that there's a match on there that's not a championship match. But other than that, I love the concept of just a pay-per-view that's literally every single title is on the line. Now, that's the only way that I'm okay with the fact that, if there's one match that's not a title match, as long as you don't not have a title, like every single title better be on the line as well.
Well,
and that's just an extra match.
One title is not, and that's Roman's because he's going for the tag
he's
titles.
In a match.
But yes,
he's in a match.
Yep.
So he should be also defending. But you know what? I get that.
Well,
he is in a match still.
What makes sense is the reason they're not doing it though is because, let's be honest, they don't want it to overshadow the World Heavyweight title. And this because of the fact of crowning new champ.
Focus, yeah.
Yes, because let's face it, if you put Roman, and it's funny because he's been going back to do our YouTube stuff, and he's like, man, I forgot how much you hated Roman when this whole run started, But then I ended up acknowledging him, and let's face the facts. If you put Roman,
you kind of turn around pretty quickly, though.
I did.
I've edited 3 of our old podcasts,
yeah,
and put on YouTube. Go check it out, and like literally by I think the 3rd one, you're like showing, talking about, because we right at the beginning we were starting to have the issues with CM Punk.
Yeah,
and
it didn't take long.
Yeah, right off the bat we started having issues, and then you point out that this is what CM Punk did on the Scrum. When they talked to Roman, he just said, "Acknowledge me," and you were like, "That's how you do it. That's how you do."
Yep, that is actually what.
And you literally turned her around like 2nd episode. The first episode, you just did not like Roman, and I think it's just like It's like your hatred, your CM Punk hatred, made you recognize. No, wait a minute. Roman's a great heel.
Yeah, it was like perfect
He's doing a
timing.
great
It was
job.
just a perfect timing thing. Yeah, and then when I watched him in the press conference, I'm like, yes, that's how you do it. So that's why you don't want Roman to defend his title because it would overshadow the World Heavyweight Championship match. So let me run down the card. There's actually two matches that aren't title matches, just so you know, because they added Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus, which will be interesting. And okay, so Bianca Belair is defending her title against Asuka in a rematch from WrestleMania. This might be Asuka's time right here. And also, I want to point out 3 women's matches on here. And the first time they went to do a show in Saudi, they couldn't even have a women's match. So it's come a long way.
Step up.
Yep.
They'll have to be fully clothed.
Yes, they still have to wear. Actually, in the beginning, like the first, I don't remember who wrestled the first time, but they just wore all black and completely covered up. Now they're doing colors and stuff, but yeah, they still all basically have to wear like a full bodysuit, pretty much. But
yeah,
Rhea is defending her championship against Natalya. Poor Natalya. Mommy's gonna destroy you. I'm sorry. Gunther is defending the Intercontinental title against the hometown hero Mustafa Ali. Boy, wouldn't that be like the shock of the century if Ali pulled that crap off?
If Ali wins.
Wouldn't that be? That would be insane. And because of where they are, the moment would be, it would be nuts just to see that. Not that I'm saying I want Ali to win. I like Gunther, but I'm just thinking about how big of a moment that would be. And of course, we're getting Brock versus Cody too. The tag team titles are on the line. Sammy and Kevin are defending against Roman Reigns and Solo. And Sammy had such a great promo on SmackDown when he was confronting Roman. And he told Roman the reason they're not going to win the tag titles at Night of the Champions is because Kevin and Sammy are better than Roman and the Usos are better than Roman. So I still think the Usos are going to get involved in this match. I still see that coming. I do. Roman did a promo where he said he was going to dedicate that title match to his relatives, the Wild Samoans or whatever. And then this past week on Raw, Kevin Owens said they were going to dedicate the tag team match to the Usos. They're planting the seeds here. And yeah. So, and of course, the main event of Night of the Champions will be Seth Rollins and AJ for the new WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So
holy shit! What if a newly face version of Jey Uso won the Money in the Bank?
Yeah,
and cashes it in.
Wouldn't that be some
Roman Reigns?
Wouldn't that be some stuff right there?
That'd be hell of a good story.
Yeah, it would be. Also, by the way, I believe this world title match could go either way. It's going to be a great match no matter what. I would love to see Seth win, but I'm not going to rule out the possibility that they put it on AJ. I think Seth should win, but anything can happen in the WWE.
I like both, so...
Yeah, I just think it would be, and I'm not taking away from the AJ, but the fact that he was out for so long, I think there would be some shock if AJ won it. Not that he wouldn't deserve it, but I think the favorite has to be Seth in this match for most people.
Oh, yeah, probably.
So it'll be interesting. So that match definitely intrigues me, but man, I can't, these two guys will put on a show. No doubt. And I assume that's the main event. It has to be the main event.
It has to be.
You could,
crown WWE title.
Yeah, you could put Brock and Cody on right before that if that's where you want them, but that has to be the main event of Night of the Champions.
I wonder when Triple H plans on starting to unveil the
other championships,
other titles, other championships,
because they are coming. Maybe
one at a time.
Maybe they do some here, or maybe on Raw the next night, or SmackDown, or whatever. Maybe let's say Asuka wins, and then maybe the next week he presents her the new championship. Maybe that's a possibility.
That's possible. Yeah.
Maybe
maybe
they'll slowly do it like that, because like I said, I read it was confirmed that they're gonna the women's championships are changing, so it's not Raw and SmackDown titles anymore. So Maybe it'll be a
I
slow
do like.
process as new champions are crowned. Maybe that's how they'll do that.
Now, once again, I will probably get confused over which title is on which brand. But
Right.
you
Well,
know what?
because it's
I like the idea of them, instead of being the Raw champion and
yeah,
the SmackDown champion,
yeah.
give them their own titles,
Hmm.
own knowledge,
Yeah.
and
Like in the original
bring
brand.
back the hardcore.
Yeah. In the original brand split, it was everything was WWE and World, like even the tag titles. They had WWE Tag and World Tag, and they had the World Heavyweight title and the WWE. So yeah, it's better to just and right now the Raw champions on SmackDown and the SmackDown champs on Raw. It's just weird. But let them hold those titles until you give them new ones. Don't do the old belt switch like we saw last time, where they just literally like,
Yeah.
here, you need the blue one and I need the red one now. Don't do that again.
Mhm.
So Night of the Champions this Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. So there you go.
I will say that I will not be watching that live because I do work Saturday. So there's,
And I
and
definitely
since it's at 1:00, there's
Yeah.
there's no way I'm going to be able to watch that one live.
Yeah, I'm
Unless
good.
Well,
I'm gonna be at work too, and like I said, I kind of prefer not to watch them live just because then you can fast forward through stuff. Just keeping it
right.
honest. I mean, if there's something you don't want to see or whatever, you can rewind, fast forward. I prefer not to watch them live, but I always get spoiled. That's the only problem. So, all right,
Who knows?
well,
Maybe I'll just throw it on put in an earbud and just kind of throw it on while I work. Who knows? I'll see.
yeah,
We'll see what I do.
see, he's admitting that he watches pay-per-views while he's working. I hope his boss doesn't listen to this podcast.
I have not. I have watched football while my boss is there.
Yeah.
I flat out told her, I'm like, you're gonna work me during Bengals games. I'm gonna watch them while I'm here. I get loud into, and I just look at them like, Bengals. They just know. They just know that this is happening.
They just know.
I haven't watched a pay-per-view at work because, well, there hasn't been a pay-per-view on while I'm working.
Gotcha.
But I have watched live, because football's one of those things you can't watch after the fact. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, no, it never works.
You got to watch it live. So,
I agree.
Yeah, I do put the football games on while I'm at work.
Right. All right. Well, real quick before we still have our video game review, and we're getting ready to do the Chic Tweet of the Week. But before I do the Chic Tweet of the Week, I'm bringing up something really random. But I just want to share with everyone, in case you didn't see it, that the Lakers are eliminated from the playoffs. The Denver Nuggets are going to the finals for the first time ever, and LeBron James just got swept. So, just wanted to throw that out there real quick. That listen, I used to be a huge LeBron fan, but now he's considering retiring. He says so. We'll see if LeBron comes back or not. I don't think he'll retire. I don't think he's going to retire because
LeBron.
He ain't going to go out. Like, that's what I think. But I like LeBron too. He just gets a lot of, he hasn't really done anything since he's been a Laker because you can't count the bubble ring. Like, he won a ring during the pandemic with him. But to me, you can never take away that Cavaliers ring. He won a title against the Golden State Warriors with a high school basketball team. So leave LeBron alone. And he does good for and he still does good for Akron and where he came from. So I'm not a total LeBron hater, but
I love LeBron.
So,
I mean, I don't love that he's a Laker. I don't love the Lakers.
Right.
I like LeBron. I heard that he still did very well in the series. They didn't win. They weren't better as a team.
Yeah, the Nuggets were the better team, and yeah. So, all right. Well, I do have a runner-up for the Sheik Tweet of the Week this week because it's him answering a question, and we know how much we love it when the Sheik answers questions on Twitter.
Yep, go ahead.
So here's our runner-up. The question was, what's the best athletic performance you've ever seen live? His response was the Britney Spears dancing on social media.
The Britney Spears dancing on social media.
My point, Sheik, what are we doing, Sheik? What are we doing? But our Sheik Tweet of the Week, I don't know particularly why he did this, but it's definitely a Rolling Stones reference in the Sheik Tweet of the Week this week. And it is, if you see a red door and you want to paint it black, you can go fuck yourself. Forever.
Okay.
Words of wisdom from the Iron Sheik right there for you.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, and he has plenty of words and plenty of wisdom.
for sure. I tell you, if you haven't been listening, I'll do this. I'll do this one day on our Facebook page, but I'll actually put all the Sheik tweets like maybe in one, collage there, so you can catch up on them because it's good stuff. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
we love the Sheiky. We love the Sheiky. All right, well, we got our tweet out of the way, and we're gonna do our video game review.
Woo!
Yeah, for a game that we know from doing our research, neither one of us ever played because it wasn't released here. So,
When I first saw it, when I first started watching it, I was like, man, this seems so familiar. And then I looked it up, and apparently this was just Japanese version of WCW versus NWO.
and that's why it looked familiar. Yeah, they call it the
That's
sequel, this Japanese sequel to that game, but yes, that is definitely what it is. So we are reviewing Virtua Pro Wrestling 64. There is actually, though, some things I found on this that are kind of cool. Um, but yeah, it was only released in Japan, so we never got to play this. But the roster is insanely huge. They have NWO, WCW, and then all these Japanese guys. But what I found interesting was they have a Legends roster on this game, and there were guys like Andre the Giant's on this game, Vader, and for some reason, when I was watching the YouTube video, it was like showing the entire roster. I watched this thing, and when they landed on Vader, you could change his attire, and it turned him into Bam Bam Bigelow. I don't. They are not the same person, so I don't know why that happened. Because like other people, like if you choose Hulk Hogan, you can be Hulk Hogan or Hollywood Hulk Hogan. If you choose Eddie
I also
Guerrero,
saw.
you can be Tiger Mask or Eddie Guerrero.
I also saw if you choose the Road Warriors, you had Hawk and Animal.
Hawk and
both on the
Animal were
same-
both, yeah. But that one blew my mind because Vader and Bam Bam were not the same person. I'm just saying. But
You-
and if
the
you
Japanese were just like, they look the same.
close enough. But you had like
They're both Pan American.
they all look the same. It's fine. Terry Funk is on there. Bruiser Brody is on there. As you see in the graphic right there, that's Jushin Thunder Liger, and the mask right there in the red and white. But yeah, you could definitely tell this is another. This is actually kind of the style AEW Fight Forever is going to look. Is this throwback like this? But yeah, it had a few like features that we didn't get over here. Like these are the differences between this and WCW and NWO World Tour. Obviously it's a bigger roster, but there's a few little things like Hulk Hogan's. I don't know if you noticed this, but Hulk Hogan, they changed the color of his knee pads. There's like a few things they had to change because they didn't have
yellow
all the
and black knee pads. I actually read that.
and
By the way, there's no point for you to bring up the picture that we have here. That's just a placeholder because I'll be putting the video of it as we're talking.
Gotcha. Yeah, so there were a few little things like that, like Chris Benoit wasn't wearing his Four Horsemen tights, just different things like that. But let's see, there were also a few other things though, like in this one, DDP doesn't use his diamond cutter for some reason,
Yeah, I saw that.
And then it also says here that Glacier and Wrath were unlockable characters in the game.
Yeah, I actually read a little bit about this because I was confused. Because
Yeah,
I'm like, this
right, 'cause it looks so
familiar.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? I was like, I had to look it up and then found out, that's why.
That's why, yeah.
Because it's pretty much the same game as that I've already played.
Yeah. Yes. So, and like I said, you could never go over. There's so many wrestlers on the roster. I bet if you looked in the collector world, though, I bet if you tried to find a copy of this game, it would probably cost you an arm and a leg since it wasn't released here. But I bet you there's nerds out there that have it.
Well, of course.
I mean, why wouldn't you? I also find it funny that they were putting Eric Bischoff as a playable character in these games. It just blows my mind. Like, also, isn't it crazy that I'm going to assume it's next year, but I thought for sure when we got to this year there would be all these wrestling games that came out, and we're still not there yet. There still aren't a ton of releases. Maybe it's next year that we start to get.
Is this our last one for 97?
I think we have one more, but I believe it's just another version of this. Um,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, it was not a big year for video game releases. So I'm actually going to take a quick look ahead and see. And I mean,
I
we
mean,
could
if you get
base.
technical, you only need like one game a year. Like, do they really need to be bringing out the same game multiple times?
No, but I knew no, but I knew there was one year that we had quite a few, and yeah, we get next year, '98, we get 3 WCW games and 1 WWF game and another New Japan game. So there's 5 of them.
Three
WCW
WCW ones.
in '98,
I
yeah.
know one of those is Revenge,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, one of them's Revenge, and then you get Nitro, and then you also get
Oh, on PlayStation.
yep, and then you also get WCW NWO Thunder. So those all come out. The only one in
Wow.
the only WWF game is Warzone. Warzone it will be the release for that next year. So
I think I remember playing Thunder and Nitro, and they were weird.
they were
If
weird.
I remember right, they were weird. Like,
I
and maybe that's because they were so different from WCW versus NWO Revenge, and that was such a great game. And I don't remember liking Nitro and Thunder, but maybe we'll see it. Maybe I'm wrong.
I
Maybe I'm
remember
wrong.
I remember Warzone. What's crazy is back then I didn't play a lot of play like now I'm a PlayStation guy, but I didn't have a PlayStation. I had a 64, and I don't think I played a lot of these
I
WCW
do
games.
remember playing Warzone. I do remember
Yeah.
playing Warzone.
Yep.
But
Me too.
Thunder and Nitro, I also remember. Wasn't Nitro the one where they would have like when you clicked on the player, they would have like a little video of
Yeah.
them talking
Yeah. Yep.
shit
That's
and
yep.
stuff.
That is Nitro. Yes.
I
Yes.
remember thinking that was cool. I liked that part. Yeah, I used to have a PlayStation 2 as well, so I have played some of those. In those days, I had a 64 and a PlayStation.
Oh,
I also,
I guess I find it
didn't have a job, and we just spent our money on video games because we were kids.
right. Something I forgot to mention that I saw in the video, and then I just actually looked this up, but I don't know if you noticed in watching videos for this game, there was blood. There were wrestlers bleeding in the game.
Oh,
Yeah. And that was actually an option, just like now, you could turn blood on and off. But how you unlocked special characters was you would have to turn blood on and then win a match by making your opponent bleed. So basically, you had to win a first blood match to unlock hidden characters. And then also, I thought it was kind of cool in the video.
That's
You saw
cool.
that the referee was just like a little anime guy that would pop into the screen
Oh, yeah.
when there was like a submission or a pin or something. Yeah. And you could win by knockout.
Yeah.
There were several guys that won by knockouts. So I mean, it looks like something I would have played back in the day.
Oh, yeah, because it's exactly like WCW versus
Right,
NWO
exactly.
World Tour.
Exactly.
Um,
Except a bigger roster for sure. I mean, the roster is
Oh,
just
yeah.
insane.
yeah, but half the rosters is people we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know them, but there's quite a few on there that we do know.
Which, I mean, was probably great for Japan.
Yeah.
They might have known them.
Oh, they did for sure because they were from 3 or 4 different federations over there, organizations, whatever you want to say. So yeah, they were all very, very popular guys over there. So, and this was just still when WCW was working with New Japan Pro Wrestling, so that's why we have these crossovers like that. So
I have one quick question.
Sure.
It just popped in my head. Do you think over in Japan, are the people that are fans of wrestling, are they like Japanese rednecks, like the equivalent of what we let's face it, we have a stigma here in America. Traditionally,
right, it's totally different over there. Like let's say in Japan, it's cool to be a wrestling fan. There's no stigma there. It's seen in a whole nother light over there. It's a very well respected sport in Japan. So you even see like if you watch anything happening in Japan, like their pay-per-views and stuff, you'll see people in suits in the audience sometimes that look like they're very important, high up, government officials and stuff. So it's a whole nother, and that's why a lot back in the day, a lot of guys traveled to Japan because it's a whole nother world. You make more money, believe it or not, because it's just such a well-respected sport over there. So it's a little different culture. Like it's a totally different
Yeah.
crowd when you
I was
watch.
just curious. I'm
Right.
like,
You're
I'm
picturing
I
like
know this.
everybody's Jimmy
I know
Wang
the
Yang over
niche.
there, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Everybody.
Good pull.
They're all Jimmy Wang
Good
Yang over there.
pull. I used to. I met Jimmy Wang Yang.
Oh yeah? I liked him,
Did
man.
I never tell you?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
So that's a great pull. I can't believe you remember Jimmy Wang Yang.
Oh yeah.
I'll never forget him because we went to a Bengals game back when we used to do Bengals trips to
All the time. Yep, I remember.
Cincinnati,
Yeah.
and we used to go to Hooters all the time.
Yes, right there on the river.
Well, we went.
Yep.
Well, instead of going the river one that we're used to, the riverfront, we actually went into Kentucky for the Hooters that was in Kentucky. I want to say Florence, y'all, but it could be somewhere else. I always like that place because there's this big water tower when you get into Kentucky that just has a big thing on it that says Florence, y'all.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
But we went into Kentucky and we went to the Hooters in Kentucky, and we're there, and I believe this was at the same time. This is when I first had my favorite beer from my uncle. So my uncle had me try Killian's Irish Red. We shared, me, my uncle, and my brother all shared a Killian's Irish Red a pitcher of it.
Right.
He's like, you want to try this beer? And we're like, yeah, we'll try this. This is like one of the first times I got to go on this trip and actually drink.
Gotcha.
Because, before I was a kid and everything, and I
didn't
get to drink. But I finally get to drink on our trips. And so I was like, yeah, we'll try this beer. I've never had Killian's. Love it. Best beer, in my opinion.
It's very good. Very
That's
good.
my favorite beer. I like me some Killian's Irish Red. Anyways, now the only two people excited at this table is me and Rage. Because nobody else knows who the fuck Jimmy Wang Yang is at that table.
Of course not, but you guys would, yeah.
But he was there, and we greeted him, and he was real nice and everything. I forget how it went down, but I remember getting to say hi and meeting Jimmy Wang Yang. We were all excited that we met Jimmy Wang Yang. He was real popular at the time.
Yeah.
If you look at when Jimmy Wang, I think he was only popular for maybe a year in wrestling, so it's probably a small window. But he was wrestling at the time that we watched.
He was, and he was actually he was in different promotions too. Like I just can't remember what his name was outside of WWF. So he was around a lot longer. He just wasn't in WWF that long, but yeah, he was around for quite a long time, and I always found him entertaining for sure.
We're talking about when he was in WWE,
right?
This was when he was
WWE, actually Jimmy Wang
at the height of his popularity, and me and my brother got really excited because we got to meet Jimmy Wang Yang, as one should if you get to meet Jimmy Wang Yang.
Right. And if you're not excited, what's wrong with you? Well, if you're not excited, then you're not a wrestling fan. That's all I can be like. But yeah, he was popular. But no, over there, like I said, it's a well-respected sport over there. It's part of their culture, and it's a huge, huge thing over in Japan. So,
all right. Well, are we ready? We have been talking for about an hour.
Yeah, we are ready.
Ready to start this pay-per-view?
We are ready. We are ready for In Your House Canadian Stampede.
All right. Let me throw up this. Oh, well, I can do it later. But so what do you think of that graphic I shared earlier of this Canadian Stampede? I'm pretty proud of it.
Yes, it's a good one.
I like it a lot. If you couldn't tell, I am a fan of South Park. And that is where the inspiration of our cover art for this episode comes from, is South Park. So, yep. There it is.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Brett, my two Canadians there have floppy heads. All right, let's watch Canadian Stampede. I'm ready. I'm excited. This should be good.
It's only 4 matches.
Only 4 matches.
Yeah,
really?
because the main event's about a half an hour. I think that 10-man tag's about a 30-minute match, I believe. Yeah. But yeah, when you get to your Peacock, you'll see there's only 4 segments.
All right, I'm ready to get on the cock.
I'm already there. Oh, that sounded horrible.
All right. Let's go.
All right, so of course, before the pay-per-view starts, we get our little package about what's going to happen tonight, and we know we are getting Vader against Undertaker for the title. But of course, the main event of Canadian Stampede's the Hart Foundation and a 10-man tag. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But it opens up the pay-per-view, and we got Vince and JR and the King on commentary. And what about that cowboy hat Lawler had on, huh? I want to find you one of those for Christmas.
Are Canadians known for their cowboy hats?
No, not as far as I know, but we sure are going like full Western, aren't we? I don't know.
Yeah, we're going full Western.
And we're in Canada. I don't know.
In Canada.
Eh?
I really don't know what that's about.
I don't know what that's about either. I don't like. They should have brought the Mountie back for this pay-per-view if they were gonna. Yeah, I don't know.
We haven't finished it.
Like,
maybe they do.
So you go to Canada for a pay-per-view, and then you do what we were literally just talking about, and make it as redneck Western as you can. I'm a little confused. I don't know. But anyway, before our first match, which was good opening match, but anyway, maybe even a great opening match, we get a video package about what had just happened at King of the Ring between Mankind and Triple H and China, because it's a 3-way. But and that is our opening match. It's a rematch from the King of the Ring, Mankind and Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and it started off fast and furious, like right out of the gate. Very intense.
It did.
We had the worst referee in the world in this match, but other than that,
very incompetent referee.
Very bad at his job.
It's a very incompetent referee. That's for damn sure.
And this was not an ODQ match, but it was a China can do what she wants because she's bigger than me match. Apparently, I don't know if that's a thing or not. But
so normally around this time, I would be like, "Oh, here's some heel 101," but this isn't heel 101 because China just did not give a fuck. She just interfered whenever she could. And Hunter would interfere whenever he could. Grabbing ropes, just constant interference.
But what he's, pointing out here is like Hunter would still try to do it sneakily like a heel. China's like, I don't care. Right in front of the ref. Are you gonna stop me? That's what she's doing. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
The only way all this cheating makes sense, especially with China, the only way it makes sense is if they paid some money to that ref.
Right.
On the slide.
But I think
Mankind's pointing at the rope as Hunter is grabbing it during his submission hold or submission move. And the ref just looks, let me look to the left. You're pointing backwards.
He looked the wrong direction. Yeah.
It's either the most incompetent ref or it's a paid off ref.
Yeah, I'm going to go with incompetent, I think. But, I don't know.
Yeah. After all that bullshit, he decides that, I will make sure to count to 10.
Very fast, too, by the way.
Very
fast 10 count.
They've been outside for half the match.
Right. And now all of a sudden.
But now we're counting it. It was a weird ending.
So the ending wasn't the greatest. The ref was kind of but it was a good match, and there were some crazy spots. I mean, Mankind suplexed Hunter onto the ramp when they were fighting outside. There was the spot where Hunter did the sunset flip into the ring, and Mankind turned it into a mandible claw out of nowhere. And of course, the power slam with China. This was one of the things we were talking about. The ref clearly saw this. Clearly. Hunter sent Mankind into China on the outside, and she power slammed him right into the stairs. And there's no way the ref didn't see this.
There's
no way.
The ref is dealing with
he confronted China after that.
There was the mandible claw, that sunset.
Oh yeah.
Claw, and then China literally punches Mankind, and he does yell at her, I guess, but
it took a minute, almost
I wonder what happened. Why are you on the ground suddenly?
What happened, Mankind? Why are you out?
or when Mankind had the mandible claw on the
top.
on the top
Yeah.
of the turnbuckle, and then she just pulls him
And gives him a nut shot right into the post.
gives him
Yeah.
a good nut shot. Some other great moments in this match is Mankind being hurt and then accidentally just hurting
Oh.
Hunter.
Yes.
Mostly his nuts.
Yes. Mankind got sent into the corner and hit really hard and then was falling when he was coming out of the corner and landed right into Triple H's
Head to
Beans and Weenies head first.
It was head to head action. Head to head.
Bump. Yeah,
And
that's
then
illegal, right? No head to head
Triple-
contact.
And then Triple H is on the top of the turnbuckle, and Mankind just like he trips into the ropes and knocks Hunter down. Like, these are clearly, it wasn't him trying. He just like, oh man, I'm in pain. Oh,
Yes.
oops. And
There
then
were some great accidental,
accidental owies.
Yeah.
I
And
had a lot of fun with this match, even though the ref was incompetent as fuck.
Yeah. The ref and I guess I don't totally hate the ending because obviously we're not done with this feud yet. So I guess I get it, but it was a great opening match with two great wrestlers.
I don't hate the ending other than it made little sense in the context of this match.
It's the problem with everything that happened earlier. That was the problem. Like, now all of a sudden
happened, and then it didn't seem like they were out there that long to.
No, he counted very quick. Count. He was like 1, 2, 3. He wasn't doing the old, 1, 2. No, he was just like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it was a little fast.
It was just so. Like, at first I thought he was finally like, you know what, all this cheating, this is bullshit, give the match to man. I thought maybe he was finally calling the disqualification. No, it was simply the double count out.
Yeah. Weird.
And then we got more action on the outside of the ring because
they continue to fight. Yeah, and they're in a hockey arena, so Mankind threw Triple H right into the penalty box like that was, and then China got involved. And yeah, you don't see a lot of scenes like that anymore. I'm not saying that they don't still fight in crowds, but those people were like Canadian security's like, we don't care. You know what I mean? Like they just had a sea of people around them. No one was trying to keep anybody back. So that was kind of crazy to see. But times have changed, right? Or in Canada, they just don't care. Like everybody, go ahead. We don't have arena security. We're gonna make it
nice and polite. Here, you can just do whatever you want.
It's gonna be a literal stampede right now.
Right.
So, yeah, but overall, great way to open up the show. I feel bad for the match that has to follow. I don't even know what to expect with this, but anyway, you heard him talk about it at the top of the show how we have 2 guys from Japan that have never wrestled on WWF are going to wrestle at a pay-per-view that's taking place in Canada. So I'm sure this is going to be
oh no,
exciting stuff. But anyway,
I thought that we were going to get a really good pay-per-view.
Well, I mean, and it's like I don't know if I said it on air, but this one's, there's only 4 matches on this one, so it's going to be interesting. The big 10-man tag gets all the airtime, but I mean they're in Canada, so of course the Hart Foundation is going to get. And plus, we get to see the Heel Heart Foundation, so it's going to be good. But anyway, that's then. This is now, and I'm going to give this. I'm going to give this 4.5 accidental nut shots, or 4.5 head-to-head combats. I don't know when it. But.
Yeah, I'm going to go with. Also, I'm going to go. I've been debating on 4.5. I agree. Going 4.5. China don't give a fuck.
She doesn't. That was a great part, but it still made the refs look so bad.
Given.
And I think that's what's
given from China.
I still think, or maybe the ref was really bad, but it's just kind of like the showing that even the referees are afraid to confront China. I think they're just trying to build her as that kind of presence.
Was either incompetence, paid off, or the ref was just like,
Not today.
It's like I already am intimidated with you being a woman, but you're a woman that could probably legit kick my ass. No.
Yes. Yeah, I'm good. I pass.
Yeah. With a strong man, you can put your hands on him. You can do what you need to. You put your hands on a woman, you get the fear legal issues, and you got the whole fact that it probably also wouldn't go well for you.
We know that. We all know that's what hush money's for. Okay, it's fine.
China, I mean, not at this time, but China literally likes to fight men for funsies. So,
yeah, that's gonna
in
happen.
fact,
Yeah,
I would not be surprised if the next pay-per-view is China versus Mankind.
right. Man, we should be excited about our next pay-per-view because our next pay-per-view is SummerSlam, but we're gonna get there in a minute. But until then, let's see what's next. Let's watch this debut of these Japanese guys. Let's see how this goes.
All right.
All right, so here you see our next match, and I called it a little wrong, but these in the past haven't went very well when we see on pay-per-views where they just all of a sudden bring out or bring guys in from. But you pointed out, of course, a lot of times in previous times they did this, it was older people past their prime. But Taka ends up sticking around for a while.
Oh yeah, and I mean he was impressive too. So and great Sasaki.
Great Sasaki, whatever. Great Sock, yeah. Yeah.
Was also pretty decent. I don't know how old he was, but I mean Taka's young. I mean he's a bebe.
Baby, yeah.
And he has one of my favorite moves in wrestling. It's a move that I've used often in the video games when I create my character. And
Michinoku driver.
I kind of forgot about Taka Michinoku, but I've used that Michinoku driver a lot in my life.
Yeah, and it was actually it was a good match. I think the crowd didn't know what to think until every time they hit their high spots, which there were a lot of spectacular moves in this for sure. I don't even think you could cover them all.
Yeah, there was the fans were very hit or miss on this one. And I think that comes from two guys nobody's even heard of, nobody knows anything about. But then they did moves that were impressive. This was actually a good showcase of wrestlers outside the WWF promotion.
Yes.
Compared to was it a WrestleMania where we had all those luchadors and wrestlers from or the women.
The women, yeah.
The women and yeah.
And they were trying to establish a light heavyweight division because WCW had the cruiserweights. So they were trying to establish that and decided to, bring out guys from the outside. So, but yeah, I thought it was a good match. This was actually a really good match. It was entertaining. I thought
it was decent. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I was dreading this a bit because it
Me
seemed
too.
like every time. Well, I mean, part of it. I mean, we're fans too, and we're like, I don't want to see people that I don't fucking know. But then we do know Taka Michinoku.
Yes,
I remember him. And then, I mean, I don't know who the fuck Great
I don't think he stuck around too long. He still wrestles in Japan today, but I don't think he was there very long. At least not with the WWF. So
yeah, but at least they got two guys that are actually entertaining and impressive in the ring, doing cool shit. At the time, this is shit we weren't seeing. We weren't seeing any of this shit in WWF at this time.
No.
We weren't doing this pay-per-view. At least I haven't.
No. And even in WCW, you had guys doing this, but very few guys. But it's funny that Brian Pillman is one of the original people that was doing stuff like this, in WCW. Kind of funny to think about that, but
closest we get is Mark Marrow, I think.
Yeah.
Mark Marrow was doing some cool, but not like quite like this. He's doing like the flips and shit off the top rope and shit.
We have to mention too, though, that as soon as these guys got in the ring, we got to see Hunter and Mankind still going at it. These two are still fighting all the way through the arena.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused by that. It's like, I mean, sure they were wrestling, but is there a story there? Like, other than the fact that Triple H beat him in the for the King of the Ring? I mean,
it's more about
watching Raw. Is there any story behind why this is such a heated rivalry that they're like still fighting?
it's not just because of losing it's the King of the Ring, it's the interference from China. It's beating him down with the crown, and then they showed him a Raw that he beat him down again, so it's
Okay,
just,
so there is okay.
yeah. So that's what it's more about than the actual King of the Ring loss itself. It's Triple H is poking the bear,
Well,
so to
normally
speak.
when
So,
you have this kind of thing where they're just
well,
continuously fighting throughout the arena, you have a long, drawn out history of hatred between the two.
right. Which
And
it's kind of based on hate, and then I cheated a little bit because I'm like, there's got to be a reason they're doing this, and yeah, they have a match at SummerSlam the next pay-per-view, so they're building that without us even knowing that these two are going to face each other. But that's what they're doing.
well, I think we all assumed.
We all assume that anyway. Yeah, so I had to look it up, and it's a steel cage match at SummerSlam. So
Oh, nice.
this will all make
Nice.
sense once. Yeah, that's what it's all about, is building to that. So I get it, but good job here on this, luckily. And I thought it was entertaining. Good second match so far. Like I was worried. I thought this
Yeah,
is where the
yeah.
In Your House is going to go.
This
But
is
so
where
far,
the downhill
yeah,
is going to be. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I thought too. But I'm actually going to go. I'm going to go 3.5 Michinoku drivers. I probably said that wrong. Michinoku. Yeah.
Michinoku. Damn it. You took my move. You
I
took
took
my
it.
move.
I stole it.
Oh. Yeah, I'm going to go 3. I think this is a 3. 3 Great Sasuke. Oh, wait. I got this.
He's got it.
3 Street Fighter style.
Oh, we didn't bring that up.
Yeah.
Great bring back. The Great Sasuke came off the top rope and literally did like the in the air side. I can't really show the pose, but yeah, he totally did the Street Fighter kick.
And then he had like the one foot out, but the other foot it was like
tucked
he
in
jumped
and
off the top rope, and it was like, what the fuck?
Straight a Street Fighter kick.
Yeah.
Good call bringing that up.
Absolutely.
Totally.
So,
nice one. See, you pulled it off and you got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we know what's next actually because of the pay-per-view being so short, but our next is our title match, and it's Vader and The Undertaker for the WWF Championship. And I can see on our pause screen, we still got Triple H and Mankind fighting.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we had to pause it real quick, and that's where they left it. So
right. So let's see what happens.
All right.
All right. So our next match, originally this match was supposed to be The Undertaker defending against Ahmed Johnson, which would have made sense because of what happened at the end of our last pay-per-view. But
are we complaining though?
No, not at all. Ahmed was injured, so I'm glad it ended up being this. And this might, wow, I'm kind of impressed. This may only have 4 matches, but this has actually been a really good In Your House, in my opinion. And this might be one of Vader's best WWF matches, anyway, that we've seen.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Yeah, and we do know now that the story has come out about the fact that The Undertaker murdered his family, but his brother is still alive.
Survived.
I wonder who that
could that be?
So we actually have Paul Bearer with Vader now, and he's not with The Undertaker anymore already, obviously, because we don't watch Raw, but obviously Undertaker had enough, and the secret came out, so we're getting real close to some Kane. I'm sorry, though, that means no more Isaac Yankem. Or Fake Diesel. Sorry.
Oh no.
No. But this was a good match. With 2 good choke slams, not just one, but 2. I mean, one was easy because Vader was up on the rope. It only had the one funny spot where I don't know if there was supposed to be a reversal of the tombstone. It was a little awkward.
He dropped him. He missed.
Yeah, I mean, either way, they just kind of rolled through it and just kept going. That was the only spot in the match that was off, but hey, it happens. And Vader's a big guy, so he probably lost his
they made
balance
it work because Undertaker just stayed down for the pin, so they made it look like it was a planned drop.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure Vader just
that's not how it was
balance.
supposed to go. Yeah, and like you pointed out during this match, since we have this, this is evil Paul Bearer, and this is a totally different side of Paul Bearer than we got when he first came in with The Undertaker. Very vocal in this match, very heelish, of course, and yeah, you're going to see many versions. In fact, that little chunk of time you always talk about that you didn't really watch wrestling, you'll get to see even another side of Paul
Paul
Bearer.
Bearer?
Just wait. Yeah. So there's a time when he's with Kane where he starts wearing a red jacket all the time, and he colors his hair like even more like a blonde color. But yeah,
Really?
that's a few years down the road there. But
Oh my.
yeah, but another
Oh
great
my.
match. Like I mean, we're not even to the end of this, and we haven't seen the main event yet. But I have a feeling when this is all said and done, it might be hard to pick worst match of the night. Like it might be hard to pick them both. The way this pay-per-view is
I
going,
don't.
you know.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough.
Yeah, I'm just thinking right now, unless this main event's a stinker,
Well,
it's.
I mean, I feel like we have a clear-cut best match. We both gave that pretty high points.
That's true, but we don't know what's going to happen in the main event.
We haven't done this one yet, so I guess that's fair.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, it might just be harder to pick the worst. That's for sure. But anyway, it was a good match. It was a good back and forth, except for that one bad spot. Paul Bearer was, like we said, very vocal, and now we know we're so excited because we know we're right around the corner from Kane. And as horrible as it sounds, yes, I'm glad Ahmed got injured because it would not have been as good as this match was.
No.
And the crowd's still into it, which why am I bringing that up? Because that matters in a show. You see times when the crowd will die off, like when WrestleMania is 35 hours now. Sometimes the crowd gets tired, and dies off.
In fairness, this is probably better for Ahmed not to be in this match because Ahmed was getting cheered, really liked. You put Ahmed against The Undertaker.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to have quite as many cheers for you.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but you're right. That could have almost turned him heel bad. Yeah, just because he was in the ring with the Undertaker. That's a good point.
Yeah, Undertaker's loved. So, I mean, and I don't think. I mean, I'm shocked Ahmed gets the cheers that he gets, but
for whatever reason, yeah. For some reason, the people love him.
But I think that might have been, mind you, an injury can also halt your momentum. But he was actually getting loved, especially facing off against the Nation of Domination. So
yeah, that's true. So this could have hurt him. You are right. That's a good point. I mean, everything happens for a reason.
I don't know how it was going to go. I don't know how it goes when he comes back, but I don't know if it would have been a great idea to have. When you have two faces facing each other, you want both of those faces to be pretty close in love.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to have one.
And he can't touch The Undertaker as far as that goes. I mean, I know he was getting all them cheers, but Undertaker's already, at this point, a mega star. I mean, that's just the facts. So
Undertaker's well loved by this time. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely really good championship match, and I'm not disappointed at all. I'm trying to think here, though. I still don't think it was as good as our opener, but it's another solid match. I'm gonna give it 3.5. Your brother's alive.
I'm also doing 3.5 failed reversals.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But hey, I just like the fact that they just went through it and kept on going, and at least it was only that one little spot.
No, and that Wrestling 101, just go with the flow.
Keep going, yep.
And they didn't make it obvious that it was a reversal. It's just we could tell that, being wrestling fans, that I'm pretty sure wasn't supposed to happen.
Definitely not. Something definitely went wrong there.
But they made it work. They worked it out to make it seem like it was just
part of the show,
yeah, that it was a proper failure and not like an actual failure, but they worked with it. I liked it.
They did. Yeah, I liked it too. Another good, solid match. So now it'll be interesting to see how this main event 10-man tag goes, and I don't believe this is an elimination thing. I believe it's first pinfall or submission wins. Yeah, it's not I believe it's not a Survivor Series style. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this goes, and this is going to be Brett's first time back in the ring after having surgery. He's been out 2 months, and I'm pretty sure this will be the first time Brian Pillman actually wrestles, because he came in injured as soon as they signed him. So a couple of firsts here for us.
We've seen him show up a couple times.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen him wrestle yet.
Yeah, when he actually started, he couldn't wrestle at all because he was in a car wreck that almost took his life. But WWF still, signed him and brought him in anyway. So yeah, he had to heal up before he was able to wrestle. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
interesting to see, and I guarantee you the crowd's gonna go crazy for the heels
Oh,
and the baby
absolutely.
faces too, probably. But they're both gonna get it. Yeah, we're in
Canada.
Canada.
We're in Canada.
Yeah, so
There's
and Bret
Bret
Hart's
Hart's
they're
fucking
here
loved
to
in Canada.
yeah.
It,
So let's
but I love this aspect of wrestling. When you have a heel go to their hometown and they're
yeah
loved,
yeah
I love that aspect of wrestling.
me
And
too
it's even more so in Canada. Also,
definitely Chicago. Yeah,
Chicago is well known to love who they want to love, regardless
regardless, yeah, that's for
of
sure.
their affiliation. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, let's get into
All right,
this.
let's see what happens. All right, so before the main event, they had to show us all the festivities that took place while they were to celebrate the Hart Foundation because we are in Canada, eh? So they had to remind us how much they loved them. They had some women whose names I can't remember sing the Canadian national anthem before the main event, and it was interesting because, of course, during while they were coming out, everybody got cheers, the good guys and the bad guys. But once the match started, there were actually some
Oh,
boos
they hated
for
Stone. They hated Stone Cold. They were booing
even
the shit out of Stone Cold.
even LOD got some boos during this one.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure back
LED
in the
didn't care. They were like trying to cheer to
yeah
the crowd. They kept putting their hands up like, hey guys, we're faces, remember?
yeah
Stone Cold said, fuck that.
yeah
Fingers
and
abound all over the place.
I don't remember. I'm sure I watched this when it was out back in the day because I watched all the pay-per-views, but I didn't remember this match, and I was kind of worried because I know we see Survivor Series and it always works out good, but sometimes these matches can just be train wrecks and you can't keep track of anything. But this one was done well. This was another really good match and another good in your house. Like I look
Yeah.
like such a fool when we dove into these saying, "Man, there's a bunch of
Oh, yeah.
crappy."
Yeah,
I keep bringing that up, but there hasn't
we've
been a
only
bunch of
had a
bad in
couple
rounds.
it's only been a couple that have been bad.
Yeah, yeah, and these last few have all had like all these matches were solid tonight. And there's no surprise. They did some antics here where Owen got hurt, Stone Cold got hurt, so they were out of the match, for a little bit. There were classic moments with the ref distracted and the Hart Foundation just teaming up on everybody. But it was we saw a lot of Brian Pillman ass. I'm not sure why that we had to see all that, but
So much Brian Pillman ass.
you did, by the way. I mean, we called it. You got to see your pink in this, but of course the Bulldog still wore his same gear he always did, and Brian Pillman
Yeah.
did not have on pink. Brian Pillman's actually wearing the same trunks he wore when he was a Four Horseman in WCW. I don't know why he never changed that look, but those are his the last tights that he wore when he was in WCW. So
As
whatever.
long as the three
but
core members are wearing pink, that's the important part,
that's
I guess.
right. And they went with the pink on the black, which works because they're heels, so
Yeah.
that worked. But yeah, overall though, this was really fun. It was a fun match, and it did get out of control a couple times. That's going to happen, but for the most part, it was one-on-one in the ring all the time, unless a pin was getting broke up or something like that. And then, but at the end, of course, it broke down, and all 75 hearts just came out of nowhere. It was raining hearts. It's raining hearts. I don't know what the heck. Like,
Hallelujah!
it was like a clown car was at ringside, and it was just full of the Hart Foundation. I don't know what was going on, but I mean,
Yeah.
it was good actually. So we were watching it, and you pointed out, you're like, "Hey, somebody just threw a drink at Stone Cold." Well, here that was Bruce, I believe.
Yeah.
There's so many Harts, but I believe that was Bruce Hart because you guys actually covered. You and Rage would have covered the Survivor Series, I think it was, when some of the other Hart brothers
We had
wrestled.
a couple of the Hearts.
Yeah, in that one year. So you did get to see. They all actually did
it was
wrestle,
the
but
Hearts versus those ninjas, or what was it? Sean had.
oh,
Knights.
it was the Knights because
weird
it was
Knights.
yeah. That's
It
that
was
one
a
of those
shit
last minute
match.
changes.
Holy crap! It was terrible.
Yeah, it was. This luckily was not. This was
This
not,
is great. This was great.
it was. It had a lot of great spots, and like I said, it wasn't just total like when we watched that What did we watch that match with the Nation and Ahmed or something? I don't know. We just recently watched like a 10-man tag or something that was just total chaos a couple of pay-per-views ago. I don't quite remember what it was, but
This
this
was a
was
bit of
definitely memorable.
chaos too, but
It was,
it was.
but not the whole time. You could actually follow what was going on. You could see everything.
Mhm.
The crowd made a total difference too. Like you said, it's fun to see the heels go to their hometown and be the heroes. Because I mean, they were throwing stuff at Austin.
And they
Like,
don't even try to pretend like they're heroes there. They're like, we're still going to be heels, but you love us anyway.
but you love us anyway. Oh yeah. And look, I know we give him some crap, but Brett was soaking every bit of it in too. Like Brett was loving the fact they were in Canada,
Oh, yeah.
and he's like, yeah,
So is
now
Owen.
who's
Owen, yeah.
yeah. Now who's the man? Now who's the guy? And of course, they had all the Hart Foundation come out individually, but not all the way down to the ring because they had to wait on Brett. They had to wait on that moment for Brett to come out and be the big hero there. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, it was an entertaining match. Stone Cold was soaking it up too. So, Stone Cold was like, I am full on heel. I am gonna roll with that, and he just was flipping people off. He got handcuffed at the end of this, and he still is walking out, flipping people off from behind.
Classic Stone Cold. Yeah, I found that funny.
It's so good.
Stone Cold's crazy enough after the match is over to come back out by himself, and they were playing off like he had a leg injury. He's limping and everything. He gets jumped by 375 Hart Foundation members.
Yeah.
And the security comes out.
I don't know if you're exaggerating either. It's
I know, right?
A lot of fucking hearts.
So here comes
he's the one that gets
handcuffed. The police come out. We're handcuff the one guy that's at the bottom of this pile getting his ass kicked.
But you're in Canada, so.
And on commentary, they're like, yeah, they're handcuffing Stone Cold to keep him from beating everyone down. No, he was the one getting beat down, folks. He was the one getting beat down. But again, we're in Canada. And listen, if you guys watch along, I don't know if you watch along with us or ever check these out, but yes, at the end of this, after the victory, they start bringing in all the Hart family. And you got to remember there were 12 kids just from Stu and Hell. There were 12 kids just from Stu and Helen Hart. And then you had all the grandkids coming in the ring. And I'm like, oh, look, there's Davey Boy Smith Jr. I'm sure Natalia was probably in the ring somewhere. Like, it was literally.
I have a curious question. Do you know for a fact that was Davey Boy Smith Jr. or just was like, well, there's a Hart child. I'm sure that's him.
There was a point where I saw Davey Boy Smith Jr. and I could tell it was him just from his face. So yeah, I did legit see him in there at one point. Davey Boy was holding him up in the air, but it did get to the point though. We're watching this all the way, and we think everyone's done coming in, and then Brett goes over to hold the rope, and here comes like 12 more people, and I'm like,
kids. A bunch of girls come in. It's like,
are these really Hearts, or are you guys just like, come on, we want a better visual. Just come on in. We don't care if you're Hart or not.
They brought step Hearts in there, step kids that are Hearts. I mean, they did not give a fuck. Or maybe they did it, and there was like a bunch of step kids that were just over here. They left them in the stands, like, not you. You're not a true Hart.
And then I thought it was a little weird, and I know I'm saying this as I have a cabinet full of action figures behind me, but it was a little weird that Helen was carrying a Bret Hart figure. Like, you're 80 years old. Why are you carrying a toy of your son? I don't know what's going on here.
You know what? If I'm 80 fucking years old and my son is a
wrestler,
big as Bret Hart, and has a fucking toy, I'll carry that shit everywhere too. I mean, check this out. He's an action figure.
Yeah, I noticed one of the kids that Owen was holding up had a figure of Owen in their hand. Like, I don't know whose kid that was because there were so many kids. Like, there's no way of knowing.
So many kids.
Was who's. Like, we know what the Hart family does. Besides, there's two things they're good at: wrestling, and you can guess the other one. That's it. That's the two. Yeah, they ain't wrestling, they're fucking, obviously. Yeah, like, woo. But another great pay-per-view.
Stu's like, hey, baby, I don't have a match tonight. Let's fuck again.
And of course, we don't watch Raws in between, so we're not sure exactly what happened. But obviously, Shawn wasn't here, and it doesn't look like Stone Cold and Shawn are the champs anymore, which I don't remember that lasting long anyway. But so we'll see. But we know our next pay-per-view is SummerSlam, so we're always excited when we get one of the big four pay-per-views.
The big ones. Yeah, we have to wait a little longer these days to get one of those. So
right. But what a way to end the pay-per-view. It was exciting. It was a fun match to watch. Everybody did really well. I'm glad Ahmad wasn't in this match either. And babyface Goldust still feels a little weird to me, but whatever. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
hate on it. Isn't it just still kind of weird? It's
it
just
is. It's weird. It's weird. It
what doesn't
definitely
fit
is.
in this pitch? I don't know. Like, so because you look
One
at
of
and
these things is not like
right.
the other.
Because I love Dust and I love Goldust, but you look at this team, right, and it's a bunch of you got Stone Cold, LOD, Ken Shamrock. It's a bunch of badasses, right, and then it's Goldust. But well, not that you're not a
Right.
badass, Dustin. I'm just saying it kind of. They were just like, we need somebody with paint, and since the Warrior's not here anymore, we're gonna throw Goldust in there. We'll just do that. I don't know, but overall, good pay-per-view, good match, and trying to think. I think I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give this 4 sharpshooters.
4 sharpshooters.
4 sharpshooters.
All right. I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give this 4.5 restricted fingers.
Oh, nice. Gotcha there. Oh boy. Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah.
I want to bring up, because we were talking about this off the air, and well, fuck it, we should be talking about it on air. You have an issue with Ken Shamrock. Now, I'd like to know, after watching that, did anything change? Did anything, what did you think of Shamrock in here?
I think that maybe back then I wasn't, maybe not enough yet, but I will say that all his stuff looks legit, so I can respect that.
Which I think is one of the reasons I enjoyed him.
And like you brought up, you think you enjoyed it because it was something different at that time, and you said that's why you enjoyed it. And maybe I will appreciate him more, now with these different eyes.
He's the first, I think, true submission wrestler that we've there hasn't. I mean, there's wrestlers like Bret Hart has a submission move, but would you call him a submission wrestler?
No, and even we had the submission match between Stone Cold and Austin, or Stone Cold and Bret, but neither one of those were truly. You want to call Bret a submission wrestler just because he uses the sharpshooter? That's not a submission wrestler. That's just a submission move. So yeah, you're right. Shamrock's one of the
Shamrock's
first
literally just throwing him off, armbar.
Yeah.
Sunset flip, armbar.
Yeah.
He's a true that style, and I like that style, and he was real good with it.
Yeah, he was.
Just
he made everything look.
Little bit we saw, he just looked good. I thought.
Yeah. So, my opinion could definitely change on him. Going back, like I said, because everything definitely looks legit, and you believe that when he slaps something on, that a guy may tap out. Well, look how quick he made Vader tap. Of course, he also messed up Vader during that match, but that's not the point. He might have injured him a little bit.
He beat the shit out of Vader. So
injured him just a little bit, but But yeah, wow. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see as it goes on, because I know there's some big moments coming up for Shamrock too, and he'll be the Intercontinental Champion at some point. So yeah, we'll see. The more we watch here, we'll see if my opinion changes. And to be honest, Steve Blackman's another one I'm curious about if my opinion will change on or not once he shows up.
Did you dislike him too?
I wasn't a fan of any of those UFC guys coming in back then. Which was probably just my clouded,
Maybe it's just. It could have been maybe it's just like a bias. It's fucking wrestlers.
That's what I think it was. I think it was these guys aren't wrestlers. You think you're wrestlers just because I think that's part of what it was. I had a hazed vision. I was already against them before they even got there. I think is what happened back then.
I like having different styles, and they definitely brought in a unique style. Blackman, I remember liking too. He was real good with kicks. I love kicking, I guess.
Right.
But he had some really badass kicks and shit. I remember that.
Yeah.
Plus, wasn't Blackman the one that had that brought in those not nunchucks? They were sticks of some sort.
The kendo sticks.
Yeah, the kendo.
Yeah. Yep, that's Blackman. Yep.
He'll be coming soon.
We'll see. He'll be coming around the mountain. Yeah. That's all about to happen. So we'll see how that goes. All right, well, another good in your house, and I think we have to we got to pick some matches. This could be hard.
We do. All right.
favorite match of the night.
All right, favorite match of the night. This might be one of the toughest, for me anyway, uh, pay-per-views of all things Canadian Stampede to pick a favorite and a worst because there were no really bad matches and I judged them all pretty close. So even though I did find the main event very entertaining, I have to go with my highest ranked match, and that was Triple H versus Mankind. I am going to pick that as my favorite match of the night. Even though, like I said, the main event was all these were good matches, but I gave that first match a 4.5. And yeah, I'm going to stick with that. That's my favorite match of the night. Hunter and Mankind.
So it's definitely between that and the main event. There's no doubt about that. I think I'm going to go with the main event simply because of the finishes. The Hunter and Mankind finish was kind of building up for more, and I understand that, but it was a little weird. It was a little odd the way they did it.
Right.
Where I love a good heel move there with Owen Hart.
Oh, yeah, it was a classic too, yeah.
He grabbed Stone Cold and pulled those tights and got the win. Not to mention there's just Stone Cold just tickled me pink.
Yeah.
He's
loving the Stone Cold, baby.
I did not love Stone Cold when I was a kid. I don't think I hated him. So he's never been a Hogan or a, for you, Jeff Jarrett situation.
Right.
Never hated Stone Cold. But I didn't get into Stone Cold as much as when I was younger, which is weird because I ended up liking. I fell in love with DX because of sucking it.
Right.
All the sexual innuendos. You think I would love Stone Cold for all the fingering,
right? You think,
going on, but I didn't. I didn't love Stone Cold. If I didn't love them then, I love him now.
Yeah.
I have grown
when we go
huge appreciation.
We go back with these different eyes, and yeah, things like that can happen. Things change on your perspectives on a lot of people, that's for sure. And it can go both ways.
I will say though that my newfound love for Stone Cold wasn't because of this podcast. I was kind of turning on. I kind of became more of a fan. Not right after he was popular or right after he stopped wrestling, but I started appreciating him more just as I think I grew up and was like, why didn't I love him like I should have,
Right.
And so this podcast is essentially just reinforcing my of
right.
why didn't I just absolutely love him? I think it was him coming back a couple times, and maybe part of that's because you thought he wasn't going to wrestle again, then he's back. For
sure. That could be part of it.
And it's also been before he wrestled, but I think I may have saw some old footage and stuff, and I'm like, why didn't I appreciate this man like he should have been appreciated when he was popular and I was actually watching a lot of wrestling,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Perspectives change. You're wiser now. That's all.
That is all. Yeah.
That's all.
But I definitely have a bigger and this podcast has changed my opinion on Bret Hart, however, because I hated him. I was not a Bret Hart fan at all when I was younger.
Yeah.
And Bret Hart's been one of the few people that have been there since almost the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah.
He was at WrestleMania 2, was it?
Yeah,
I feel like Bret Hart showed up during WrestleMania 2. It was pretty early.
Yeah. Yep.
Pretty early, and he's still going strong 10 years later.
He is, and of course
more than 10 years.
And we both, of course, grew a bigger appreciation for the Bulldog as well, who's been there for a long time now. So, yeah, that's what happens when you go back and watch these oldies but goodies, as they say. And it's so funny that we're this close to the Attitude era, but I was watching this and thinking, with Brett and Stone Cold in the ring, and it almost feels like we're years away from the Attitude Era when we're really only like a couple of months away from the Attitude Era. It's just kind of funny going back and watching that
I
stuff and
know.
seeing
I'm, I'm excited. I'm hoping that we get a triple threat match of this at SummerSlam, because I did look it up, and we just passed the first ever triple threat match in WWE.
Yep.
It was in June, and this pay-per-view was in July. So we're literally, this is, I believe, the first pay-per-view since the first triple threat has happened. So, which we didn't get that on here, but we only had 4 matches on here.
Yeah,
so,
only had 4. So.
So I'm assuming we'll start getting more triple threats.
I'm sure it's coming.
A triple threat.
Sure, it's coming. Yeah.
I'm curious when the first pay-per-view triple threat is.
Yeah. But it's got to be coming. That's for sure.
And once we get triple threats, then we'll start getting all kinds of different match types.
Yeah.
Like Hell in a Cell is coming.
Yeah. We were just like 2 pay-per-views away from our first Hell in the Cell. So. We're really right around the corner.
We're 4.
Or 3. 4. Yeah, 4. You're right. Yeah.
SummerSlam, Ground Zero, the one night only, and then
yes.
So
we're right around the corner. So
all right.
Well, let's pick the worst.
Are you ready to do this really tough decision here?
Yes, it is gonna be.
It's gonna be real tough. All right.
Let's.
Worst match of the night.
Well, there were actually no bad matches. I want to say that, but I think we've had to say this before on these good pay-per-views. There were no bad matches, but we always pick a best match and a worst match. So just strictly going by my rankings, I'm going to say that the worst match of the night was Takamitsu Noshu against Super Crazy Calosius, whatever the guy's name was.
Great Suzuki.
Yes, Great Suzuki. That's it. Yes, that's going to be my pick. And that's just based on, I believe that was my lowest ranked match. I could be wrong, but I believe that was my lowest ranked. So it's the only logic I can use.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with Vader versus Undertaker. Just because I guess I didn't have a high expectation of either match.
Right.
Vader hasn't been like the person that really has wowed me watching these pay-per-views. So I don't always have a high, mind you, this was probably his best match.
Right.
So I haven't had a high regard whenever he shows up. But I had low expectations for the Taka Michinoku match as well, and that actually
exceeded for sure.
Majorly exceeded.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go. I don't know if I want to give that the worst. So I'm going to give it to the. And it's not that Undertaker Vader was a bad match. This just didn't have a bad match. We had 4 matches, and all of them were pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good pay-per-view. For sure.
So I don't know if I truly believe it in my heart, but I'm going with Undertaker Vader. Only because I have to pick one.
Yeah, we got to pick one. So, and now it'll be interesting to see where we place this, because it's time to rank them.
In your house, rankings.
All right, rankings time here. And this, believe it or not, we're actually just talking about this because it's been like in your house, in your house, in your house. This is the 16th in your house we've watched. 16 in your houses. That's a lot. That's a lot. So here we go. Of course, I joined the bandwagon. I go worst to first. So here we go at 16. I have in your house 13. At 15, I have 4. 14, I have 3. 13, I have 2. At 12 is in your house 1. At 11, I have 12. At 10, I have 9. At 9, I have 8. At 8, I have in your house 6. 7 is 7. I have In Your House 11 at 6. At 5, I have In Your House 10. And at 4, I have this In Your House 16. At 3, In Your House 5. 2 is In Your House 15. And at 1 is In Your House 14. So there you go. This one made it to fourth spot on my rankings for this one.
Interesting. For 16th place, I have In Your House 4. 15th place, I have 13. 14th, I have 3rd. 13th, I have 12th. 12th, I have 8. 11th, I have the first one. It's crazy how high that first one is on mine and
Right.
yours.
Yeah.
10, I have In Your House 2. 9, I have In Your House 9. 8, I have In Your House 7. 7, I have 10. 6th place, I have In Your House 11. 5th place, I have In Your House 6. And I have this at 4th place, In Your House 16.
Also, both of us,
as
yes.
well. 3rd place, I have 15. Then I have 5. And my favorite is still the 14th one.
Oh, so look at that. A couple of similarities there. What do you know?
Yeah. Well, this didn't have a bad match, but
No,
this also
it
didn't
didn't.
have like a Bret Hart versus British Bulldog like fantastic match. So
Right.
it didn't have that almost perfect match,
True.
even though it had a steady lineup.
Yeah, just a good solid pay-per-view for sure. So, yeah, good stuff.
It was.
And of course, like I said, excited about next week because we get to have a SummerSlam, even though it's a SummerSlam where something sad happens, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. But yes, very sad. So anyway, I guess it's time to plug some pluggables.
Plug some pluggables.
Do it.
Well, you can do it.
Do it.
Well, you can find me at Dragon Blazer Productions on the Facebook, the Instagram, the YouTubes, and the TikToks. And you can also find me at Dragon Blazer Pro on Twitter.
The Twitters. By the way, before I plug my pluggables, anyone who's watching this, if you don't get what the reference is for the cover art, then I don't know if we could be friends anymore. Because this is genius. My co-host did this. An obvious nod to one of the greatest things to ever come out of Canada, which would be South Park. I love it. It's great.
This may be my favorite cover art because normally we take the place of the wrestlers in the ring, but I said, screw it. We got Canadian Stampede and we got Bret Hart, Owen Hart there. I gave him the South Park Canadian treatment.
Yes, I love it. A great homage right there. Yes. So you can also you can follow us and join us on the Boomer and Blaze Show Facebook page. You can follow us at Boomer_Blaze on Twitter and Insta, and we are at the Boomer and Blaze Show on the TikToks. And folks, on the YouTubes. We are on the YouTubes. He's actually getting to our episodes now. So come on over to the YouTubes.
3 of our episodes on there now. Three Boomer and Blaze episodes. I have 2 really bad ones. Got Royal Rumble and we got WrestleMania 11, which are a little rough.
Those are our first 2 too. That's how we had to start off, right?
But then we got that In Your House, and that In Your House was pretty good.
Yeah, so that's worth checking out. And also, don't forget, you can make comments, interact with us. Let us know what you think. I'd like to hear some feedback, what you think of our video podcasting now. And don't forget, we do listener requests. If you have any of those, you can throw them out there. So, yeah, let us know. Give us that good, bad, we'll take it. Let's hear some feedback, some interaction, which we are getting some on the YouTubes, which is a good thing. So
that Boomer is supposed to comment
on yes, I have to.
So many comments have been done on the YouTubes, and you're just like,
I got to get there because real life gets in the way. That's what happens.
I know,
but I do need to check that out. So
I've been interacting with them a little bit, so it's been fun.
Yeah, so that's good. That's good. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out because I would like to definitely interact and see what people have to say. So, all right. Well, we survived. We did it again, and I can actually see that we will see you next week when we do SummerSlam.
Hey,
I can say I'll see you now.
we're
Until
visual and stuff.
that's right, and you know what, we're liking it. Our show is, like you mentioned this last week. I think we kind of didn't know what would happen when I moved, and it was kind of a bummer. And not that I didn't like doing it there in person, but I like some of the perks we have to doing it the video podcast. I like being able to put up all the art that you do. He does most of the work, but you know what I mean though. It's an I like it. I've
Hey,
enjoyed it.
you've
I
been
think it's
doing a
been.
lot more art lately, so
I have. I've been trying to. So yeah, I've enjoyed
it's not
this
like
this
South
new
Park
version.
homage great, but
No, it's
it's
not. But
good.
I
It's good.
but I got to think it
It's
too.
good, honest. It's good, honest work.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
It's another sad
Yes.
death that I saw
Oh,
happen.
yes. But so it's been fun. I think it's grown, and yeah, we enjoy every minute of it. So we will see you next week for SummerSlam, and until then, this has been the Boomer and Blaze Show. I am Boomer,
And I'm Blaze.
and good night from Dragon Blazer Studios.
Hey everyone, this is Blaze from the Raging Blaze and the Boomer and Blaze Show. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more wrestling content.